What's up, guys? My name is Sam Muma. I'm doing the creative video for the marketing class on the book we chose for our book report. The book I chose was Moneyball. This book was written by Michael Lewis, and it's about how the Oakland A's, who are a very small market, poor team, use data and analytics instead of money to kind of compete and play with like the bigger teams, like the big spending teams. So the A's were broke compared to all the other teams in baseball. Their general manager, who is the main character in the story, his name is Billy Beane. He got tired of losing players to more wealthy teams, so he basically said, all right, if we can't outspend them, let's outsmart them. He teamed up with a data nerd guy named Paul D. Portiza. I don't really know how to say it, but I tried to spell it out. And together they looked for players' stats in a totally different way. Instead of paying like the big dollars, like millions, for players who looked good, they focused on players who could actually do the small ball things, like get on base, even if they weren't flashy or like big time players. And it worked. The A's ended up making the playoffs that year and competing with all the good big teams. And then people started to realize that analytics can work with baseball. So, later in the story, it gets more interesting from a marketing perspective. So what Billy Beane, the manager and main character, basically did was he used data to find value where everyone else was missing it. It's just like when companies study consumer data to figure out who's really buying their product. I know in marketing we talk a lot about the right audience and positioning your brand and getting the best return on your money. Billy Beane, in the story, he did all that just with baseball players instead of customers. His team couldn't compete with the big budgets, so they built their brand around being smarter and more efficient. It's kind of like Dollar Shave Club taking on Gillette, or a small local coffee shop competing with Starbucks. By doing things differently in their own way. I learned that this made me see data in a very new way. I used to think analytics were boring and a bunch of spreadsheets and charts, but this book made sense to me, and it showed me how creativity and data actually go hand in hand. It reminded me that a lot of stuff we did in class, like marketing dashboards and learning to read numbers and what they're really saying. And data tells a story if you're really looking for it. Thank you.